All right, we are back with the 147th edition of the Quarantinecast. I'm super excited for this one because it's someone I haven't spoken to. I've been talking to a lot of guys I've gotten to know over the past year or so, and this is a guy I haven't spoken to yet. So it's always exciting when I get to meet new people. Without further ado, it's UFC bantamweight Anthony Birchak. Hey man, how's it going?
What's up, dude? How's it going?
It's not too bad. First things first, how are things there with the pandemic? I mean, the world right now is ridiculous. So how are things there?
In Arizona, I'm in Nevada right now, which is it's kind of locked down. But back home in Arizona, the governor Doug Ducey, literally just lifted all the mask mandates, social distancing's done, bars, restaurants can return to full capacity, and gyms are back open.
What was the so you've been back and forth between both Arizona and Nevada, or are you primarily Nevada right now?
No, I live in Tucson. I operate 10th Planet Tucson and Toro Tech Mixed Martial Arts there in Arizona. The reason that I've been out here is just because I don't have the training partners, that I need yet there at home. I've been building my students to be, some of the best training partners that I have, but I still need a different look, So I come up here and stay with some family that I have, do my camps at Extreme Couture in 10th Planet Las Vegas. And now that I'm able to get some really good therapy and stuff that I need at the UFCPI, it's a lot more encompassing when it comes to training, recovery, and the things that I need.
I want to talk about this past month. I mean, we've been talking for a little bit through DMs and whatnot because you've had a crazy month. You were supposed to fight Johnny Eduardo. He had some visa issues, and then you didn't know if you were supposed to fight him a week later, 2 weeks later, if that fight was going to eventually happen, if you were going to get a change of opponents. Describe what it was like that roller coaster of emotions.
Dude, it's weird what the body goes through, right? Because you're like you're maintaining camp, and your schedule doesn't change, right? But everything that's in you is like, well, why the fuck am I even doing this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a target. I don't have anybody that I'm game planning for. I'm literally just training to train at this point. You know what I mean? And like, it's hard because you can't get the mind to fall in line with the body. And the body's ready. It's fucking, got its armor on. It's hardened and it's battle ready. But the mind is just like, are they even going to find me an opponent? Is this guy going to get his paperwork done? And when it came down to like stuff with Johnny Eduardo, like, dude, visa paperwork? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that is such a 2018-19 problem to have. You know what I mean? Like, in a day and age when COVID is canceling everything, and you want to work and you want to get out there, like, your visa's the thing that got in the fucking way. Like, to me, that's apathy and just kind of dropping the ball. But they were trying to give him a little bit of extra time. So we went from UFC Fight Night, and then they were trying to move us to UFC 260, right? So they gave him an extra week, which they built this fight on 4 weeks' notice to begin with, which is kind of strange, right? For a camp, like 4 week notice fight without, him having an opponent fall out or me having an opponent fall out. They just built this fight out of 4 weeks. I said yes because he's 42 years old and he hasn't fought in 33 months. So him getting ready and getting back in the groove of things is going to take him longer than it's going to take me. I was already been ready through jiu-jitsu and doing super fights and stuff like that. And I took that loss to my friend Gustavo very seriously. And I was like, whoa, I could get called at any minute. Like, I need to get fucking serious. So I've been training this whole time. Um, so when they said, hey, would you like to fight Johnny Eduardo in 4 weeks? I was like, yeah, dude, I've been wanting that fight since 2015. Like, right now is the best time to hit that.
Yeah.
So, all the bullshit aside, it happens. We're going into UFC 260 fight week, and on that Sunday, I get a call saying, hey, it's no longer Eduardo. We're getting a new opponent. Stand by. And I was standing by for like 3 days, dude, and it was just, why the fuck am I even here? Like, fucking send me home. So on Wednesday, they decide to send me home, right? Well, Tuesday afternoon, I stopped by Extreme Couture just to say bye to everybody and like, hey, thanks for my training. You guys helped me a lot while I was here. Thanks to my coaches. Sorry I couldn't pay you, you know? And while I'm at Extreme, I get a phone call. It's like, hey, Tony Gravely's dude, Nathan Manis, fell out with an injury. Would you fight Tony? And like, I'm literally sitting down right there in the gym, looking up his footage, looking up what he's good at, looking up what his, what his strengths are, looking up what his weaknesses are. And like the way that I saw everything falling into place stylistically, I fucking loved the matchup. So my coaches were right there. We could literally give them a quick analysis, and we kind of just pivoted and restructured our camp. And here we are. A week and a half later, I literally only went back home to Tucson for 3 or 4 days, and then this Monday, I jumped right back on a plane, and I was right back here in Vegas.
Man, I love it. Are you someone that like you get motivated by certain names like that? Like, I know some guys are like, I don't really care. 3 days notice, just give me a name. I don't really care. Are you someone that's like, I need to know my opponent well in advance? I study tape.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I study tape. I'm a student of the game. So like, if I think something's not a good matchup, like on 3 days notice, like that doesn't make it, especially with the UFC, bro, they'll cut you for, they don't give a shit that you said yes on 3 days. They're gonna give you a cut if you take a shit and you don't look good in that fight. So I am a business, I am a product. If what I'm selling is not good, no one's gonna buy this shit.
Yep.
Right? So yes, it's cool to be a company man and say yes to, short notice fight for the UFC, but that's also just an opportunity for them to put you on the chopping block. And when a couple of names did come across the board, they were like, hey, do you want to fight Montel Jackson? Hey, do you want to fight Kevin Kroom? And I go, okay, Montel Jackson's coming off like a 90-second knockout, and I would need a camp for that guy. Like, I'm not saying no to him. I would just need a camp. Yeah. And then they were like, well, would you fight Kevin Kroom? And I go, I was supposed to fight Kevin Kroom back in 2013 when we were both bantamweights. That dude is fucking massive now, and he fights at featherweight. And do I expect him to take, this short notice fight on 3 or 4 days notice and make weight? Probably not. So then do I want to be stuck in the octagon carrying a guy that's 165, 170? Fuck no. And they had been holding my weight at 145s for 2 weeks. So my body already acclimated to 145. I wasn't going to bounce up much more, and so I did field some offers from a couple of different names, and they just didn't make sense to me. So when they told me Tony Gravely's opponent fell out, I was like, fuck yeah, that's a stylistic matchup that I love.
Yeah, I think it's a great matchup. I love it. I want to talk about your UFC. Well, I wouldn't say UFC debut. Your second stint when you got the call to fight, like you said, a friend of yours, Gustavo Lopez. It's got to be hard when you get that phone call. Like, yeah, dude, it's a friend. It's hard, but it also gives me back to the UFC, which is where I want to be. What was that conversation like? And did you give him a call? Did you talk to him before you?
That was exactly the conversation. Exactly what you said. He gave me a call right after they made the matchup, and he was like, "Hey, are you good?" And I was like, "Are you good?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "The way I see this is all love and respect. Like, you're my dude." He's like, "But this is a win-win because I know how hard you've been trying to get back into the UFC. And I'm at a point where I need to stay in the UFC. So he's like, let's go in there, fucking bang it out, and we'll have a beer after, and we both get a little money for Christmas." So that's how that went down, man. And it was just shitty, because like if you follow me and you guys have been looking at my Instagram, that was Halloween weekend. On fucking Friday and Saturday night, I was in drag dressed like a woman, fucking twerking my ass off, get drunk as shit, and on Monday, I'm back in the biggest show in MMA.
Yeah, I mean, was there? I'm sure there was no hesitation. It's your chance to get back in the UFC. There was no doubt at all you were taking that fight.
Yeah, no, and like, I mean, Gustavo was fucking battle ready, and I was nowhere near, that. But, between all the rounds that we've shared, like, yeah, I mean, maybe I could catch him with something, So, that's how it went. That's how it went down, dude.
Yeah, your departure from the UFC was a bit weird because you were coming off a win too, and then you went. And a lot of guys like to stay and compete in LFA and whatnot. You decided to go abroad, which is something a lot of guys don't do. What went behind that decision to go to RIZIN?
Yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I don't understand why the UFC cut you on a win." They didn't cut me. I walked away on my own free will, and not a lot of guys get to do that. They don't get to leave on their terms. Ultimately, it came down to me, needing more money. And I was trying to be a company man, and I said yes, and I was trying to do this, and I was trying to do that. I said yes to Rafael Assunção when him and Aljamain Sterling's fight fell apart for UFC New York. During that time, there was a lot of turmoil with the UFC getting bought out by WME IMG and the Fertitas kind of, leaving. So there was a couple contracts that got sent to limbo, and it was like me, Carlos Esparza, Ryan Bader, and what was his name? The Monsoon was his cage name.
Lamont Larkin.
Yeah. So Larkin, they all ended up, going to Bellator. Carla, she doesn't have 4 kids and need to respond to people, so she just waited. And that's what Sean Shelby was like, is you can wait, dude. Like, as soon as we go into 2017, we'll re-sign you. But I had already fought at UFC 200 weekend, which was July 7th, and I had already been off for 6 months. Like, I was healthy, I was ready to go, and I wanted to re-sign. And during that time, there was 3 organizations that I was playing my free agency with, and that was Combate Americas, that was RIZIN, and ACB. And ACB offered me some good money, but like, I just heard so many horror stories from people about how the Russian judging is, and some of the bad calls and things like that. And fighting in Russia just never really enticed me. Combate Americas had a great offer, and kind of the way that they feature the Latin American fighters, I thought was a really cool thing. So I was playing between RIZIN and them, and it was just like, man, RIZIN pays in cash. It's an opportunity to fight in Japan. This is a way for me to raise my value. And, once my free agency's done, like, I can come back to the UFC at a higher payout. So I thought, right? And like, going to RIZIN was probably one of the worst things to happen in my career. Those 2 very shitty split decision losses, and then a loss to Kawajiri, which is fine. Like, I have no problem. I'll own that loss to Kawajiri. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time, one of the top 3 greatest Japanese fighters of all time. And if I had to fight him to get my foot in the door, then so be it. But I don't believe I lost those other 2 fights. And if I wouldn't have taken those fights, man, I think my record would have been 16-3 or 16-4, which is a title challenger in any organization. So, sorry, 18. It would have been 18-4 with the 2 wins. But I got paid, I made my money, and then when I came back to the US, it was just super hard for me to find fights. LFA was really hard to find me fights. Combates was really hard to find me fights. They would go through 7 or 8 opponents, 2 weeks out, because everyone just said no and canceled and fell out with an injury or pulled out because they were scared. So for me to get back in and finally, get my foot back in the door to fight in the UFC, like, it had to be yes, right? So like, yeah, I made money and I had some cool experiences, but my career and my record took a big hit with that stint in RIZIN, dude.
Yeah, but now you're back. You're back in the UFC. You're at, in my opinion, I nominated Extreme Couture for best gym in 2020. As someone who's been there, is the hype real behind
Dude,
Eric Nicksick in the gym?
Listen, man, I've been Extreme Couture since 2012. 2011, 2012. Me and my wife have been coming up here, and I did my Ryan Benoit camp here for the MFC. I did my Tito Jones camp there for for the MFC. Like, I've done all my camps for RIZIN. The synergy, like, I've been to Jackson's, I've been to all these other big gyms where I see all these personalities, right? There's like major personalities, and you see like everyone is just always holding you like at an arm's distance. You know what I mean? At Extreme, it's like everybody's fucking there to work together, build. Like, there was a time when I was at Jackson, like, I realized like John Jones and Alistair Overeem don't work together. Like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, those would be the 2 greatest training partners for each other. But they don't work with each other because they're 2 high profile alpha athletes. I don't see that extreme, dude. Like everybody works together.
Yep.
Everybody works together. The coaching from Dennis Davis, Eric Nixick, Ray Sefo. Uh, there's guys like Jake Shields and Vinny Magalesh. Like there's so many dudes that are just in there inputting knowledge. It's wild, dude. Coach Tim Lane. He's an amazing striking coach, and there's just so many people that fighters gravitate towards certain coaches. Like every Monday, Eric comes in and just lights a fire under all our asses, and we get fucking going, dude. It's a legitimate team family environment. It's rad.
Yeah, and I think it's paying off. Like, after 2020, there were no champions out of Extreme Couture, and Aljamain Sterling was training there, so you can count that one. And then Francis Ngannou. As someone who's gotten to know Francis, your thoughts on him? I mean, he seems like such a nice, genuine guy, but then when the octagon door closes, the light switches.
Yeah, he's not a man of very many words, right? And like I don't really try to like. I think any conversation with me is wasting time. Like I don't try to waste his time. So I just watch, dude, and I see like how much he truly was trying to get better. There's a lot of guys that like, oh, I'll just throw a punch and I just need to land this punch. But for him to make those adjustments that he needed, the down blocks which stopped the takedown, and then the two straight crispy punches that he threw was ultimately that's what won him the fight, not winging hooks, throwing straight down the pipe is what won him that fight. And seeing all these people like trying to chip in, because he's now the only other heavyweight other than Randy Couture to hold the belt there at Extreme.
Yeah.
So that was a big moment, man. And I remember Eric like, hey, we got, Birchak this weekend. He's finally going to be able to get a fight. And we got so-and-so this weekend. And then we got the opportunity to put another heavyweight champion, on our wall since the old man himself. And I just remember that. And I was like, fuck, dude, like, let's fucking go. Let's get this shit.
Yeah, man, it's a huge moment for that gym. I'm going to ask you a couple of more questions, and then I'll let you go. I know you have jiu-jitsu. There's a big fight coming up, and I can't go without asking predictions. Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman. Do you have a prediction for that fight?
Dude, everyone wants to talk shit to Masvidal about how he got, 50-43 or some fucking ridiculous question, like ridiculous score. I think it's going to be a little bit more of the same. I think both of those dudes are going to be bringing some heat, and it's going to go to a decision again. Kamaru's such a grinder, man, and his style is draining. I think Kamaru will still end up on top and coming out victorious in that fight, but I don't think there's going to be a finish. And if it is, it's going to be something wild. But again, I think it's going to be a battle of attrition and something that goes the distance with Kamaru edging out Jorge Masvidal.
All right, and then I'll ask one last question. What can we expect from you in your next fight against Tony Gravely?
Oh, laser-like precision, my man. I'm fucking surgical. I've been on the pads just cracking with Ray Sefo. Shout out to my coach, Ray. He's got my hands and kicks. He's obviously the K1 kickboxing legend, and we're creating, like trying to take that old school kickboxing that is that it's been proven to win fights. If you look at Henry Hooft, that old school basic style is what's winning fights there at Sanford. And Ray is that guy, So I'm blessed to be learning from him, and what you guys will see is amazing laser-like precision, and just me doing my thing out there, man. I'm about to have fun. Like I haven't had fun doing this in a long time, and a lot of shit I've been doing lately has just been pure fucking fun, man. Like me hitting pads, me wrestling, me doing jiu-jitsu, like I'm enjoying this shit again.
All right, man. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Best of luck, and can't wait to see what you can do.
For sure, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Best of luck. There you go. Anthony Birchak, UFC bantamweight. Tune into his fight. He's got a big fight against Tony Gravely, like we said. If you guys haven't yet, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.